Okay, so I want to talk about knee injuries as they pertain to jiu-jitsu. So as we know, it's very common to have some niggling pain or even an injury, a meniscus tear, an ACL, MCL, PCL, whatever, injury occurred during jiu-jitsu. So I want to run through a few exercises that may help you. Now, first and foremost, this is where mobility and particularly hip mobility comes into it. If we have something like a heel hook has been applied and you've had some damage to your knee. Now, I'm not saying that if you have better hip mobility that you shouldn't tap to heel hooks. You should always tap to heel hooks. But if there is some kind of rotational thing, or maybe you have somehow put your knee on the mat and your body has continued to rotate, maybe to take someone's back or something, and you've had some knee pain. If we have better hip mobility and rotation at the hip, then not quite so much torque can go through our knee. So I'm not saying that it is going to stop all knee injuries, because unfortunately that's definitely not the case. However, if we have some better mobility, you are generally a little safer and maybe can mitigate the chance of an injury being as serious as it may have been otherwise. Now, obviously there's no way for us to tell, but I feel like you might as well set yourself up for success and be as flexible and strong in all your ranges of motion as possible. Anyway, I feel like I have digressed a little bit. So let's get back to the knee, shall we? When we talk about the knee, we've got our tibialis at the front here, tibialis anterior, we've got our calf muscles at the back, we've got our quads at the front up the top, and we've got our hamstrings at the back. Now, very simply put, in a very big nutshell, if we focus on strengthening all four of those muscle groups, then our knee is going to feel a lot stronger. It's going to have a better blood flow, which means if it does get injured, it may heal more quickly because we have a better blood flow to the knee joint. So I'm going to take you through a few exercises, one for each muscle group that you can go through. And add them into your routine if you do have sore or weak knees. So let's talk about knee rotation first as well. Now, your knee does actually rotate, and a really nice way of just sort of feeling this out is sitting on a bench, pop your knee up in front of you, and we want to actively pop your foot from side to side while keeping your upper leg straight and where it is. And you should feel a little bit of sort of rotation happening in the bottom part of your knee here. So we can rotate side to side. We can also sort of help it along and try to manually rotate it as well. So doing this can be a nice way of sort of, I guess, mobilizing your knee just to get it feeling good. But this is not going to be strengthening it, but it is just a nice way of getting a little bit of blood flow through to that rotation at the knee joint. Now let's talk about our tibialis first. Tibs can be difficult to strengthen. There's a couple of things that you can do, like a tib raise on the wall. One of my favorites is actually sitting on a bench like this with your knee straight, tying a dumbbell to the bottom of your foot. And there's actually some devices you can get that can help with this too. And from there, we just want to bring our toe up towards our knee and then relax it down as far as you can, getting that nice stretch through your tib. Again, pulling and back down. Now you can also do circles like this. Remember, I've got a dumbbell tied to the base of my shoe here, going around like this. Now I'll show you one of the devices that you can use that can help this. So I've got this one here from the Tib Bar guy. You just slide a little weight plate on the end and you pop your foot in just like a snowboard binding. Oops. Pop it in, ratchet it up, and it actually just fits. It's like the same size as a barbell, so you can just put a collar on there, which I do recommend, which I couldn't find. And then we just go through this movement here. So pulling toes to knee, relax it back down, pulling, relax it back down. Like I said, we can do circles as well. Let's just imagine there's still a plate on the end there and coming back. Really nice way of stretching through your ankle, getting a little bit of strength to the ligaments and tendons throughout your ankle joint, as well as strengthen up that tibialis anterior at the front there. If you don't have one of these though, get a small tie down and just strap a dumbbell to your foot. It's literally that easy. Okay, next up, let's talk quadriceps. Now, we want to be strengthening our quads, and just making sure that we're getting a good blood supply to the knee. A lot of time people can have pain in the front of their knee there, and it's like a patellar tendinopathy type situation. And often, not always, but often it can be because our quadriceps aren't strong enough. Now there's a couple of things we can do. I love the Patrick step up, which is just this here. We can add weight to this. It's a nice, safe way of slowly increasing the range of motion at our knee joint and very slowly adding weight. Now what we would do here, add some dumbbells into each hand to increase the weight before increasing the height. Now, if you don't have one of these boxes, which is fair, most people don't, most gyms don't, you can just use weight plates, pop them on the ground, start with just one, build up some tolerance there. If you want to use a barbell, if you've gone too heavy and dumbbells, you can't hold on to them anymore, just make sure, a common problem that people do, a common mistake people do, is they'll stick their hips back like this. We're actually starting to load the hip then, and we want to be loading the knee. So keeping the hips, knees in that nice line, and we're just gently tapping the ground with our other foot. That tap is important because it means that we're doing the same amount of range of motion on each rep. Another really nice, simple, basic movement we can do for our knee for this short range of motion here is propping something under your knee. This can also be like a rolled up towel or a yoga mat. We just need to have something under there so that it's not flat on the ground. And from here, we're literally just going to straighten the leg, focusing on squeezing that quadriceps muscle. So we're going to go through that. This is obviously quite a low intensity option, but really great for those who have quite sore knees or really struggle to engage this quadricep here. All right, let's talk about our hamstrings. Now, having a nice, strong hamstring, especially one that's also flexible, is going to help your knees out quite a lot because you will have access to that range of motion, especially in a sport like jiu-jitsu, and you'll have access, say you're going for a guard retention, you've got your knee really close to your chest, and then suddenly you want to extend your foot. Well, we've got access to strength in those end ranges of motion. So doing things like a Jefferson curl. So if I was to load up a Zercher, say, through my elbows here, tucking my shoulders, rounding my spine, rolling all the way down and reaching for the floor with this weight in my elbows. You can also do it holding a dumbbell before slowly coming back up, making sure that the knees are straight. So we are really targeting behind the knees and the hamstring. That's going to help build flexibility and strength. Then the other side is just your classic strength movements. Things like RDLs, single leg RDLs, Harrop curls, 45-degree hyper machines, anything that we're going to be building that raw strength through the hamstring. It's going to be great for blood flow for one, and secondly, really good for helping you build that strong muscle. And finally, let's talk calf muscles. So I like to do this next to a rig or something you can hold on to, and literally finding a deficit of some kind, toes on the edge, coming up, squeezing, trying to keep that knee nice and straight before you go down as far as you can. You can add a dumbbell here to add some weight. You can also use the calf raise machines if you've got them at your gyms, they're fine as well. This is obviously a really great way of building strength through your calf and flexibility through your ankle as well. I'm going to show you one more calf exercise. This one is a favorite of mine. It's called a donkey calf raise. So we bring into it a little bit of hamstring flexibility as well. So you'll need a slant board for this one. And what we're going to do, hands are on the ground or on a yoga block. Just move this back a bit. So hands are on the ground or on a yoga block in front of you there, and we're going to go up into this calf raise, double calf raise position before coming back down, trying to really keep your knees completely straight. Up, squeezing, and then back down. So I hope that helps. Focusing on all of these muscles that come into the knee can be a really great way of helping strengthen weak knees, as well as just building up some flexibility, mobility, and strength in all the surrounding structures. But as always, we do need to look up and down the kinetic chain. So thinking about hip strength and mobility as well as ankles, and then from there on, you know, we're onto the whole body. So I hope that helps. Send it to a friend who is always complaining of knee pain, and yeah, follow me for more.